As far as I was concerned at that moment, she was a young woman who had disappeared along with someone called Patrick McLaughlin, who was a caretaker in the church.
People had told us about a man called Patrick McLaughlin.
Pat's a handyman. He just finished painting the kitchen. He was up on the roof there, and he was amazing.
The way he was described by the locals was that he was quite a slight man, an older man, quite religious.
He felt at home here too, but I really knew nothing other. In fact, it was only the last few days I learnt his second name.
So when we were asking everyone about McLaughlin, nobody seemed to know where he'd gone. He had disappeared at exactly the same time as Angelika had disappeared.
Is it unusual that he hasn't?
Well, I'm surprised that he hasn't come back.
When you've been a reporter for as long as I have and covered as many crime stories, that's obviously a huge red flag. So everybody wanted to know where this Pat McLaughlin was. Why was he missing?
In 2006, I was a senior investigating officer that dealt with complex investigations, murder inquiries, and I got a telephone call from the chief constable, the highest level in the force. This was now a high-risk missing person. There was concerns that Angelika had come to some sort of harm. The last person she had been with was a church handyman, a person called Patrick McLaughlin.
Well, today, detectives released a photograph of a man they want to talk to.
Pat McLaughlin did speak to the police very early on in the investigation, but the police are very anxious to speak to him again and have not so far been able to contact him.
Someone in Paisley recognised the picture and called the police and told them that's not Patrick McLaughlin.
So I went to the press conference, and I can remember it clearly. It was becoming breaking news.
As a result of the response to the media coverage, it has now been established that the man we have been looking for, Patrick McLaughlin, is in fact now believed to be Peter Tobin. Peter Tobin is a registered sex offender.
So the last person she was seen with was a registered sex offender?
That's what the statement has just said, yes. Huge, huge issues. The police have lost a sex offender. The big issue is, where is Tobin? Where is she?
Right away, we were able to check, through sources that this was a man with a serious criminal past.
August 1993, Tobin had invited two 14-year-old girls into his flat in Portsmouth, plied them with drink and drugs. He raped one and indecently assaulted the other and put them through 16 hours of hell.
Well, Peter Tobin, 60 years old, and the police say that he shouldn't be approached.
Angelika could be still in that church, and that was the big concerns.
The police then requested that we go down and look at the last area that Angelika was seen, which was within the garage of the church. And it was a garage that was full of stuff, full of furniture, paint tins, DIY bits and pieces. It was a concrete floor, and we had a look at the concrete floor. And then we just started seeing all these blood spots, and we started circling them and circling them. The size of the blood spots, the distribution of the blood spots, immediately as forensic scientists said to us, someone has been assaulted within this garage.
Up until that point, it was a missing person investigation. And the church had been searched, but not on the same criteria. So I used the top level of expertise. The Pulsar search advisors, and they were briefed to search that church, leave no stone unturned. In fact, rip that place to shreds if need be. And within 3 hours, the Pulsar team had found a woman's body underneath the floor of the church. There had been like a small sort of trapdoor, and underneath there was a body of a woman.
When we found out, our immediate move was to get right down there to the church and see what was going on.
The religion seems to hide quite a lot of sins, as they say.
Where was the father of the chapel when all this happened? You think he would have saw something, wouldn't you?
People were wondering, how could this have happened in a church of all places? It's supposed to be one of the safest places on earth, and yet this poor girl had clearly lost her life here.
Okay, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming this afternoon. As you will be aware, the body that was found within St Patrick's Church, William Street in Anderson on Friday evening was that of Angelika Kluk, the missing Polish student. Sadly, I have to inform you But following the post-mortem examination this afternoon, Angelika's death has now been treated as murder.